Ethan, we gotta talk.
About what?
You've abused the power of the Stubmaster shirt. I'm gonna need to take it back.
But why, John?
Without this shirt, I'm nothing.
If you're nothing without the shirt, then you shouldn't even be a reviewer at all.
Fine. Okay, fine.
It didn't have to be this way.
If you want your shirt back so bad, you can have it. Huh?
Oh god, oh no. Oh, is that your stomach? Oh my, that's not healthy. That's disgusting.
Have it.
No, keep it.
Take
you
it.
can't, no. I can't, I think I'm gonna be sick, Ethan. That's too much. Oh god.
Hey everybody, I'm Ethan.
And I'm John.
And welcome to the new age of Stubmasters, now that Jonathan has left us.
The new setup. Good riddance, right?
Good riddance, this is the look that you're going to be seeing. Alright, now, let's get into the review for Spider-Man Homecoming, the new Marvel, not with Sony, Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
Or still with Sony, but
so
whatever.
what were your expectations going into this movie, Ethan?
Going into this movie, Spider-Man Homecoming, I've been a huge fan of Spider-Man for as long as I can remember. Watching cartoons, reading comics, I have various Spider-Man paraphernalia around my room. I've been a huge fan. I've been expecting Homecoming to be a great one. I'm very happy that it's in the MCU. I was excited to see Tony Stark's involvement in the film, and overall, I was just really looking forward to a new age of Spider-Man. What about you?
I feel the same way. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man just as a character overall, but I was for the most part pretty disappointed in the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Right.
I just felt like they were in a lot of ways sloppy, messy, and just kind of weak and not very memorable overall. And I was really excited to see the kind of focus and energy that Marvel Studios could bring to this movie. And one of the reasons I didn't like the Amazing Spider-Man movies that was remedied in this was I'm not crazy about Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Right.
I think he's a little too cool for it, to be frank, because the essence of Spider-Man is, you know, like a dorky, dweeby, shrimpy kid who's by the same time very ambitious and suddenly gets all these superpowers and is way out of his depth.
Right.
And I think Andrew Garfield is way too cool for that, but Tom Holland captured that perfectly, I think, and that's one of the things I love so much about it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the transition from the entire Sonyverse to sharing this in the MCU, and that's including the whole history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love the new Peter Parker with Tom Holland. I'm going to have to assess where I rank him among the other Peter Parkers.
He might be the best Spider-Man we've gotten so far, I think, live action.
So I'm going to have to assess that, but I really did enjoy Tom Holland's performance as Peter Parker. He's a believable high schooler, and that's really what I wanted from Peter Parker in this incarnation.
I feel like in so many movies, superhero movies included, but not just superhero movies, we see like 32-year-old men trying to be high school students.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just unbelievable, and like the dialogue is so corny. Like, oh hey Billy, so you going to like the football game after school? Like,
absolutely,
some
Chad.
man by a lugger. Oh, Miss Margaret's class, right? And Tom Holland really just felt, and with all the other high school characters, it just felt real. It felt believable, and that added so much more of the impact for the story for me. And I think the writing overall in this movie was a highlight for me. It's really, really sharply written.
Absolutely, just the writing and dialogue alone for a lot of these high schooler kids, like Peter's classmates, like Liz. A lot of them are very believable. I can believe kids acting like that. I can believe kids saying that.
And one of the things
just that alone,
contributed to the realism was, I think, the villain in this movie.
Okay.
Because I think it was the right... You know, as we all know, Marvel's always had issues with villains in their movies.
Occasionally, not always.
I think it's been a fairly consistent thing that we get weak or thinly written villains in a lot of their movies. And maybe this villain could have been developed a little more, but I still really, really loved them because it was the appropriate scope for this movie, I think. There was no, like, world-ending plot or anything.
Right. It was a pretty small plot that you could compare to Ant-Man, who was, let's say, a heist movie. But no, I absolutely loved the Vulture in this movie. He was terrifying. There's such a fantastic twist I will not reveal. Maybe we'll talk about that in the spoiler video. But there's such a great twist with him that I absolutely loved his character. I ranked him...
Michael Keaton's performance also.
Yeah.
Knocked it out of the park.
I'm ranking him up there with one of the best MCU villains. I'll just say that.
I would say that for sure. He's really, really, like, scary and intimidating. Not in, like, a big, scary, destroy the universe way, but in, like, more of like a criminal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just thought he was a real character. He had depth. You see he had a background. He had a family. He's a normal person, and that's probably the scariest part about him.
Yeah. Another thing about this movie I want to say is it's really, really clever and funny without being quippy.
Dude, this is a funny movie. This movie is super funny.
Maybe it's just like we're the target audience.
Yeah, props
to hilarious movie.
Props to John Watts for just making a very funny Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, this movie is really, really hilarious. And one of the things I loved about the comedy was that it was clever and witty without feeling quippy.
Right.
Because a lot of the things people critique about Joss Whedon's writing in a lot of the Marvel movies was that it was too, like,
It was too
quippy, you
It was
know?
too fun. It was too quippy.
It was too
A lot of
just, like,
characters-
cartoonish.
A lot of the characters shouldn't be saying the things that they were saying, but again, totally believable coming from these high schoolers.
Yeah, you would hear jokes from some of Joss Whedon's script and be like, no one talks like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not things people say. That's, like, what is this?
Yeah. Another thing that I thought was really funny about this movie was just the camera and direction that John Watts was doing. There were a lot of visual humor things that he was doing there as well. Like, we always thought about what happens when there are no buildings for Spider-Man to swing on, and there are a ton of jokes where he's out in the park and he can't swing on anything.
Yeah, he tries to swing somewhere and doesn't reach, so he's got to run across
So
the
we
golf
just-
course, getting hit by sprinklers. Oh, this sucks.
There's a great sequence where Spider-Man's running through a neighborhood, and he's just messing everything up. He's just running through
Going
fences.
through people's
and-
fences and pools.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It was great. And Tom Holland's just youthful, very, like, boyish kind of little kid attitude very much added to that comedy.
Absolutely.
Everything just worked together to really paint a great picture of Spider-Man that I think really hasn't... This is the first time that image has fully come to screen, I think. I think that's the original vision that Spider-Man had when he was created in the comics so many years ago. And I think it's really fully realized with this movie. Another thing I love about this movie is that it works so well with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Because we know that Marvel's been trying to create all these movies as one universe that all comes together. And I think this movie was the most seamless effort in that, because
Right.
it involved the universe really well and really deeply and really seamlessly without being too focused on world building or setting up other movies.
Right. I think the best way that I could say it is we could see how it affects everything or everyone on a personal level. We see the MCU affecting our education systems and what we learn about.
We have Captain America giving safety PSAs about
yeah.
drugs and healthy eating and such to the high school kids,
Yeah.
which are A, very funny.
Oh yeah.
They're hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And B, they show how, you know, it would really impact our world and the universe if the Avengers were a real thing.
Yeah, it affects all the characters. It affects everything on a street level from everyone, just the day-to-day activities. It's such a great way to blend the whole giant canonic universe into this very small, comparatively movie.
And especially with, not even just on the street level and personal level, but with just the characters and how it integrates into the story is really seamless. It just fits very just snugly in within the plot line in a way that makes sense and is engaging with the rest of the universe.
Right, there are a few plot lines where you can see, oh, I can obviously see where that's going to go, but they don't act on it, and that's okay.
So Ethan, overall, Spider-Man Homecoming, what do you give it out of 5?
Man, I really love Spider-Man Homecoming. I didn't think it was going to be as funny as it was. I didn't think it was going to have as great action as it did. I saw a few people giving it gripes for not having great action. I have to disagree.
I like the action a lot.
A lot of the action was very cool. All of it mostly involving the some of the Vulture and his friends. Or villain compadres, I would say. So I love the action there. Surprisingly funny. All the performance was great. I love the new universe that they're building after taking it off of Sony's, you know, basically hands. I love Spider-Man Homecoming. What can I say? I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
I'm pretty much right with you, Ethan. I loved this movie. Tom Holland is an excellent Spider-Man, really captures that vibe of just a nerd who suddenly has superpowers and he's webbed out of his depth.
Right.
This movie actually opens with a sequence of him making a video, like a home video of him as he's going through his adventures.
And we've done that. You and I have done that.
We've done that.
That's why it makes him so relatable.
I love the writing in this movie. If you were disappointed with the writing in the Amazing Spider-Man reboot, then you'll be happy with this. It was very tightly written, very funny without being quippy, great story, great plot line without being all over the place. Overall, I just love this movie. I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5 stars. This might be the best Spider-Man movie we've gotten. I know it's a hot take, but I'm tempted to say that.
Quite possibly. When Jonathan gets back, I'm gonna get his take on whether it's better than the Raimi trilogy.
Alright guys, so let us know what you thought of our review and let us know what you thought of Spider-Man Homecoming if you've seen it. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at StubMasters. You can get our merch at cafepress.com/StubMasters. And I'm John.
I'm Ethan.
Have a great day.